New video time! Guys, I am Yard Offside FM, and it is very nice to see you again. This is episode 7 of The Triumph, my Football Manager 2017 Let's Play series as Hell's Teeth FC in the Tuvalu A Division. Thank you for coming back for episode 7, guys. This is going to be an end-of-season live comm. I do want to apologize in advance, though. It's an incredibly windy day outside where I'm living, and you can kind of hear some kind of weird, creaky, howling sounds in the background. That is the wind blowing past my windows. I've tried to shut them all, and I'll do my best with the sound. Maybe if there are any really janky sounding bits, I'll cut them out in post editing. But that is just going to be unfortunately a part of this episode. Thanks, weather. But let's get things started here, shall we? In the last episode, we took on Howdy in a Cup quarterfinal, and we've rocketed to the end of the season in really fine form, guys. So here's that Howdy result that we played in the last episode. Katagali coming on for Smaya Moeaga, getting the opening goal of the match. Togavai Stanley equalized for Howdy 5 minutes later, rather. And then Tamafai Tui put us in front just before halftime, and that was the deciding goal. 2-1, we marched on to the semi-final. Meanwhile, in the A division, we got a startling result against league leaders Tofaga. 2-0 victors. We really stole it right at the death. We defended well for most of the game. Tapagao Jr., the center back, getting a goal for us, and then Tamafai Tui throwing the dagger in stoppage time to give us a thumping, shocking victory over the class of the A division thus far. We then did do that Lacania United semifinal. I had thought about doing it as a live comm, but in the end I decided it was too soon after the quarterfinal. Might as well just march on through it. And it was a little bit of a hairy result, only a 1-goal margin in the end, but Tamafai Tui's 8th minute goal was the decider. We then took on Nanumaga in a 7-goal thriller. The lead changed hands several times. This has been kind of a feature of Hell's Teeth thus far this season. Matches where lead changes are very commonplace. But in the end, 4-3, we were the winners to continue. That made it 5 wins in a row in all competitions. We then avenged Luamotu. If you guys will remember, we had that live comm where we coughed up a 3-goal advantage for a 4-4 draw. No, that's the Tamanuka result. There it is, the Luamotu 4-4. I think that was episode 2 or 3. I think that was episode 3. At any rate, vengeance was ours. 3 goals to the good. Moeaga scored twice, and Antonio Eti knocked in a really nice looking free kick. Then we took on Lacania United. Now here's the frustrating thing, guys. I want to show you the league. And if I remember what tab it's under, past positions. Here we go. Let's just tick Hell's Teeth now. After we took on Nanumaga and Luamotu, after that Luamotu 3-0 win, we were in 3rd place. Now, I probably won't be able to show you the table, but at that point, we were 4 points back from the league leaders with 2 games to go. And the reason for that is that Nui and Tofaga hit very, very sketchy patches of form late on in the year. Tofaga, as you can see there, losing to us. Nui lost to Lacania United. They drew against Pioneer Vayaku. Tofaga held to a draw by Pioneer there themselves. So not great runs of form from these two, and we closed that gap, which at the end of episode 6, you guys remember we looked at the table and thought, oh, we're well out of the league. Well, we closed that gap, and we really had a chance to get into the OFC Champions League by nicking the 2nd place spot from either Tofaga or Nui. Unfortunately, guys, we went into the Lacania United game knowing that we could close the gap to 1 point, at least temporarily. We were held to a draw, and then subsequently both Nui and Tofaga won. Tofaga victorious over Howdy by 4 goals in the end, and Nui defeated Manu Laiva 3-2. So unfortunately, we did come up just short in the league, but a 3rd place finish, pretty pleasing, guys. I'll show you the final table. As you can see, Tofaga were champions in the end. Nui had a chance, but they were held to a draw. Let's see here. Tofaga 2-1 winners over Nanumaga in their last match. And then Nui played a couple days later, held to a draw by last place Newtow. They did not hold the primary goal difference tiebreaker, so Nui really didn't have much of a chance in that match. Anyway, Chafaga really deserved champions. They were very, very good for the most part across all competitions, but we were kind of a bogey team for them, which was something pleasing to see. Nui, on the other hand, more or less dominated us in every match this season, which segues well into our next topic, guys. By the way, we did win our final match of the year against Manu Laiva in a largely meaningless game. 3-1 was the final result. Tui getting a brace and Timawani getting the insurance goal to really put Manu Laiva to the sword there. We are taking on Nui in the Christmas Cup final today, guys. This is a team who I don't believe we've got a result against all season. Let's go have a look. We lost those 2 matches here in late July and early August. And then we had a preseason match against them that ended in a draw. Similarly, one of the very early season games against them also ended in a draw. So we have never beaten Nui. There's a first time for everything, and hopefully today is the day, but Nui are a very strong side, and we will be taking them on in the Cup final. Obviously, getting into the OFC Champions League was a little bit of a higher priority, and I was really disappointed after this brilliant run of form that we came up just short. But that's what next season is there for, guys. And we do have a chance to come away with a little bit of silverware here against Nui in this Christmas Cup final. So before we get into that match, guys, I mentioned it's the end of the season. So really, I think there's kind of an obligatory sort of statistics kind of examination to go over. Don't want to dwell on it for too long, but as you can see, we were the best at hitting the target, unsurprising given how good we were as an attacking side for most of the year. Tafaga, as you can see, did get just in front of us for the most goals in the competition, but we were a very close second there. Let's look at some of these other categories. Headers 1 was Newtow, odd given how poor they were for most of the year. I suppose they were maybe under the cosh the most, and therefore heading the most balls out of the box. Surprisingly, we completed a fair number of crosses, and we've never really been a crossing threat for most of the year, but we were third in the league in that category. Dominated possession, averaging 54.41% of possession in our matches in the league this season. Second to Tamanuku in passing completion ratio. And we were very much a clean team, not even appearing in the top 5 of fouls. We did manage to finish 5th in terms of tackles 1 ratio, which is great to see because we really, for the most part, both of our tactics are kind of stand off, don't get stuck in, stay on your feet. Not really a tackling team, more of sort of a contained mentality, defensively speaking. We did concede a fair number at the back, just a consequence of the very much attacking formations that we were using. However, happily, we did manage to finish tied for second in shutouts, which is very nice to see. Obviously, top of the league in form at the current moment. We finished the season with great aplomb. 8 games unbeaten. I think that is just in the league. Across all competitions, I believe it's 11 or 12. We're just in superb form, and I really, really hope we can carry this obviously through today's Cup final game, but also into the start of next season, which will be a tough ask because, the players will take a month and a half off, and we'll obviously be making some signings in January. So, things could look very different at the start of next season, and for many of the players who you will see on the pitch today, this could be their last appearance in a Hell's Teeth shirt. I'm not sure. We'll see. But at any rate, let's just go over to the squad screen just so you can see a breakdown of the players who performed the best for us. I've already got this loaded up. Obviously, Samaya Moeaga and Taumafai Tui dominating the goal-scoring charts. Unsurprising to see James Lapayo in there at third, although I would have liked to see him score more than 4 goals. Of course, as I've repeatedly mentioned in episodes, guys, he's really he's really there to be more in a assisting capacity, and he did lead the team with 11 assists for the year. Tui coming in second there in that department, and Pearson with 6 assists, third in our team. Tamafai Tui has been spectacular all year long, collecting 6 Player of the Match awards. And obviously, unsurprising to see him best at average rating as well. Tofikai Pearson, I believe, the best in our team. Well, the best starter in our team. Best regular starter in our team in terms of passing percentage. Unsurprising to see. He's really sort of a midfield maestro. Tackling percentage, we have a few guys who have, played intermittently, but as far as the best starter, Pearson leads the way alongside Ali Nessi Silao, the center back. Dribbles per game, Tamafai Tui's done very well, crushing the rest of the team. I believe he was close to the best in the league for dribbles per game as well. We can go back over to the competition screen just to check that. I actually forgot to go through the player overview page anyway. Let's see. Most key passes, Tamafai Tui. Most assists, James Lapayo. He did lead the league. Samaya Moeaga winning the Golden Boot for the A Division. Tui right behind him. Most shutouts, great to see Mayo Tui Tapase. Granted, I think a few of these, maybe a couple of these, were while he was playing for Nui, because as you remember, we did sign him mid-season. Early on in the year, we had Joshua Valawaka, no longer with the club. Thank you. Most key passes, or most key tackles, rather. We didn't appear anywhere in that category. Most dribbles per game. There is Tamafai Tui at 2.25. He did finish just behind Taufia Fiamalua of Nui. Well, according to this, they're tied. I'm not sure what that's all about. And at any rate, Tui, surprisingly a very good dribbler this year. Well, maybe not that surprisingly. He has been fantastic all year long. But as I mentioned, average rating very, very high for him. Player of the match. I mean, really, he's got to be considered the best player in the league, Tamafai Tui. He's just done everything so well this year. I'm very, very happy that we managed to hang on to him, given the interest that was shown in him at the end of the summer transfer window. I'm sure that interest will amp back up as we head into the January transfer window. But I'm optimistic that we can keep a hold of him. I think he's a fairly loyal player. Obviously, that's a hidden attribute, so it's difficult to know how loyal he really is, but I'm optimistic that we can hang on to him. So here we are in the opening screen for the match preview of this cup final. As you can see, we have never gotten a victory. Nearly sold out ground here in Funafuti at the Tuvalu Sports Ground. 1,220, what is that, 7 tickets sold, which is close to the 1,500 capacity. It's a calm and cloudy day, 62 degrees Fahrenheit here at the Tuvalu Sports Ground. No rain, and usually that is something that we like to see. Rain, really suits us, given that we're an attacking team, but looks like there's no rain in the forecast today. Tapase in goal as usual. Tapagao, Eti, and Silao are typical back three. Olalofa C, who's one of the who's one of the regions that I mentioned in the last episode. He's this guy who's quite versatile, even though his attributes are pretty horrible. But he can play in 4 different positions, which in Tuvalu you don't tend to see a lot of players who are that versatile in terms of the number of positions they can play, and we'll be using him in this winger role over here. He's decent at that, but although, as you can see, not really promising in terms of his attributes. We'll see how he does. Again, right midfield has been a place where we've had, there's kind of been a hole there all year long, and we'll see how things go. It's nice to see that he has a work rate of 11. That's his best attribute alongside natural fitness, and hope a good work rate will go a long way in our team. Really, I'm glad that he plays for Hell's Teeth, because look at this guy. I mean, he looks absolutely terrifying. Like, someone condemned to hell somehow managed to hop out of the queue for Hell's Gate, and somehow is walking in the land of the living once again. He's luckily found a job with Hell's Teeth in Tuvalu, which is where he belongs. At any rate, Aliu on the other side of the formation, Fakasega and Pearson in the midfield. Fakasega, I'm a little bit dissatisfied with how he's played this year. Granted, he's not really suited to playing in the midfield. I think he'd prefer to be playing in attacking midfield, but I may be looking for an improvement in central midfield in the January transfer window. Nothing against Fakasega. I think I'd like to keep him at the club, like as a reliable backup or something like that. but I'm not sure that he really is fitting into our team at the moment. At any rate, Tui, Lapayo, Moeaga, the usual trio up front. We'll be using the more defensive 3-2 or 3-4-2-1 Tengako formation, and we have made a little bit of progress in terms of learning formations. Obviously, at the amateur level here in Tuvalu, it's hard to get players familiar with your tactic, especially when you create a new one. Well, really two new ones in the middle of the season, as you guys know we did. But we are competent in 7 of 8 categories. So let's get into the match here. CO, obviously, the regen lacking in match fitness. If we need to replace CO midway through this cup final, then we'll do that. We have plenty of options to play at right midfield, but they're just all pretty terrible. We're actually the favorites with the press. They're saying they can't look beyond Hell's Teeth. The bookies, unsurprisingly, are really going with Nui. That's probably closer to the reality. And as far as the key battles, it's being said that Tailolo, Sio Peppa, and Samaya Moeaga are the players to watch. We did have a match against Nui early on in the season, and I think the final result was 7-6 or something like that. I remember showing that result to you guys, not in a live com, but we discussed it. And it was I'm sure destroyed the previous record for the A division in terms of most goals in a match. There could be goals in this one as well, although I'd suspect with it being a cup match, that Nui will come out and try and contain things a little more. So we are being asked by the press here, how much of a boost is Lapati Okalani's absence to your chances of winning? I don't know. I mean, the press has been making a lot of all Nui's injuries leading up to this game, and they're all super minor. I think it's unfair to single out individuals in such a manner and shows a lack of class. Just take a shot at the media. I love it. Let's do it. Winning the Christmas Cup would undoubtedly be the pinnacle of Hell's Teeth's campaign. Well, I mean, it would have been better to qualify for the Champions League, but that's fine. We don't need to split hairs. Just how badly do you and your team want to win it? I'd rather continue working hard to ensure we win than sitting here with you lot. Wow. Yeah, let's do it. I love just taking shots at the media here. This is going to really, really, really lower my media handling rating. But, I don't know. I personally find all that stuff to be just there for immersion purposes. Doesn't have a huge... I don't think it has a huge effect on the way the team plays. The surface out there doesn't look to be in the best of shape. No shit. How do you think the conditions will affect your performance? Well, given that we're playing on an airplane runway, it's certainly not ideal, and we're going to have to make some adjustments. You come into this one in good form. That's an understatement. We are in spectacular form. You take that back. You take that back right now, Sealy Fakasega. Probably related to my Fakasega. I don't know. I mean, in a country where there's only, 10,000 residents or something like that, I'm sure some of these folks are related to one another. You come into this one in good form. Your opponents do not. Do you think there's going to be complacency on their end? It's always on the back of my mind. Yes, we have to be focused. That may cast doubt over my I don't know. That may be seen as questioning my own players. This is a very long tunnel interview. Perhaps let's just let's kind of speed through the rest of this. The game sees Maya Tuitapase, blah, 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 return to his former club. He'll be fine. It's not all about him. The public will want to hear a proper answer from you. No comment. Hell's Teeth suffered defeat the last time they met Nui. How will that affect the team mentally ahead of this game? It's important that we treat this match as we would any other. Okay. So we have already looked at our team for the day. Just to have a brief look at this. Nui playing in a 4-3-3 narrow, as I've mentioned in previous episodes. That's okay. That's a formation that we tend to match up pretty well against, and I'll be glad to see them using that on the day. I really much more fear like the kind of 4-5-1 or 4-4-2 formations where they have a lot of sort of wing threat. That is not something that we tend to deal with well, just because we only have one winger on any given side of the pitch. Let's see. Do I want to tell them that we've been on a good run and that I expect them to continue it? It's difficult to say whether the players are going to assume that we are considered underdogs for this. I guess just pick up where you left off, and hopefully that'll motivate them. Good. A few of the players looking motivated. That's good to see. I have faith in you fellas. Let's go win a cup final. Obviously, this video being recorded in mid-December. Christmas is on its way. We are in the Christmas Cup. It's all set up perfectly for us here today, guys. Hell's Teeth suspending their presumably Satanist point of view to really get a little bit of Christian holiday spirit here today and try and lift this trophy, lift a trophy for the first time. This is a club that I created specifically for the save. It doesn't exist in real life. We have no history, no trophies on our cabinet, and we ought to add some here today. I'd really like for that to happen. I'm cautiously optimistic here because FM does tend to kind of spread. If you look at the history between Lapao does his man there. Moeaga, that's a decent save from Avia, their goalkeeper. I just think, anecdotally speaking, if you look at the way FM tends to do things, as we will watch this corner kick here. Aliu, now they're going to have a corner. Fiamalua down that side, and Alasana has been left wide open on the other. Luckily, we managed to shut him down, and that shot is not a good one from Alasana. If you look at your history between your club and any other in FM, I've noticed that when you're short of a certain type of result, like let's say you're taking on a team that you've never beaten, FM, it seems to give you an advantage, just to kind of even things out as much as possible. Maybe I'm just sort of misreading some sort of gameplay mechanic as that set piece comes to nothing, and Alasana has created basically a 2-on-1 here, and he's done it his man. He's avoided every single tackle on his way down the field, and then somehow missed an absolute sitter. Tapase will be thanking his lucky stars. Anyway, I'm enough of me and my conspiracy theories about how FM gives you favors in terms of certain results. I'm sure it's just complete bullshit. Yeah. How are our players doing in terms of condition? Looks like everyone's above 80 still. Samaya Moeaga got an 81. That's not great to see. Do we have any backup in terms of strikers? It didn't really include anyone because I was more approaching this from a sort of defensive perspective. If we can get a goal, I make us favorites to win. I could tell them to go out there and get revenge after Nui's last result against us. That might work. Let's just follow the assistant's advice. If we can get a goal, I make us favorites to win. Go out there and make it happen. Come on, boys. Okay, the players reacting pretty well to that one, but of course they didn't make much happen in the first half. To be honest with you, I'm going to be shocked if this doesn't go to penalties here. How about match ratings? CEO on a 6.5. All right, we're going to keep an eye on him for the next 10-15 minutes. If he's still that poor, we're going to bring on somebody else, maybe Antonio Eti. Looking a little defensively shaky here. I'm honestly a little bit shocked that it's still 0-0 here at halftime. But again, as I mentioned, Nui, they can blitz us in terms of goals. Good save there from Tapase. And wow, Napoe has absolutely skied that. Keeper was way, way off his line in no man's land. Tapase had no chance, and they have missed an absolute sitter. Moeaga offside, and he's on a 6.4. Tui on a 6.4 as well. This is not looking good in terms of our attacking prospects. Maybe we need to just batten down the hatches and sort of look to take this to penalties. Given that Nui have had the better chances, we do have some capable defensive cover. Tito Tui and Alafi Pataya in there. I'd like to bring on Antonio Eti, I think. His form's not been amazing. He is a decent free kick taker, and in situations like this, tight matches, that may be something that we can use to our advantage. We'll bring on Eti for CO, who's been kind of disappointing. I wanted to give CO a little bit of time in the first team. He hasn't really taken advantage of his chance that much, so we'll just bring on Antonio Eti. I'm going to tell him that I have faith in him, and he looks to be in a positive mood. Go on, get yourself another free kick goal. I forgot to mention in the preview, we did have a discussion with our board about philosophies, and we have removed set-piece goals from our philosophies, so the board will not be judging us on that anymore. But obviously set-piece is still a good way to get yourself into a match. So nice to see a guy who can be a threat from set pieces. That's been an issue for us all year. Need to make another sub here. Shall I bring on a more experienced center back in order to give us some solidity? I want Tito Tui to be given as much match time as possible, just because there is no way to give him game time in the U21s or reserves in this save. I think let's look more long term rather than try and park the bus here in this match and kind of look at it in a long-term perspective. We're going to take off Salau as he's on a 6.4. Tito Tui, the 17 years old now, 17-year-old, the teenage center back will come on for us and hopefully be able to see things out in this contest against the incredibly dangerous Nui. I'm going to tell him there's no pressure on him. I don't want him freaking out, and he seems relaxed, which is very good to see. Is it worth trying to go attacking and nick a goal on the break here at the end of the match? I feel like that would just make us more vulnerable to Nui finally scoring one against us. I think I'd rather just try and take it to extra time. Fakasega, we do have a few men forward here. Lapayo has it stripped from him by Fimaloa, though. Eti can whip one in. Lapayo. Oh, Tui! Oh... He didn't have to take it first time, and in retrospect, I wish he hadn't. In the end, the goalkeeper did have to make a decent save, though. Eliu will whip this corner in. Moeaga. I'm a Feyenoord fan, so Eljero Elia is one of my favorite players, and I've known for a while that I was bound to accidentally drop Elia's name instead of Eliu in a live com. Okay, we're heading into the 87th minute here. There's going to be 2 minutes of added time. We're going to hold off on the last substitute. It is the end of 90 minutes here. It's finished 0-0. Obviously, this being a cup final, we are going into extra time. We have a couple players looking very nervous, which is not great to see. One of them is CO, who's already been taken off, though, so maybe I won't concern myself too much with that. Let's just give them a bit of encouragement again. Do I want to tell them to go and get... Nah, that's probably a bad idea. Maybe I should just praise them and say I'm happy with how things are going. Come on, boys. You're doing well. Doing well. Just give them a bit of encouragement. Pat them on the back. You guys haven't been that bad. I believe you can improve. You can do it. You can do it. I don't know if I want this to go to penalties or not. I think we do have... I think we are the better team in the goalkeeper department. Tapase, obviously a former Nui player, and I don't really know that they've replaced him with anybody that good. So maybe penalties is something that we can sort of hope for. I don't know if we have any good takers, though. That's part of the issue. Lapayo can't chase down that loose ball, and Alasana is getting more and more space here. They're telling me Moeaga needs to come off. There's not really an option to bring anyone on, though. So I think Moeaga is going to have to soldier on. He's also one of our best penalty takers, and I'm hesitant to take him off. So a bit of ping-pong here in the midfield, and Nui has collected possession, collected possession. Kaumtaura on the left for Nui. Katagali now. Lima Lofa... A little concerned that this could be a goal highlight for Nui here. We're missing tackles all over the place. Valoaga, Alasana shoots, puts it over once again, and Tapase can breathe easy once more. Really scary stuff here, guys, as we head towards the middle of extra time. Ooh, boy. All right, let's start extra time of the second half. We should probably use our last substitution at some point soon. I think I'll do a check to see which of our substitutes is the best penalty taker and deliberately take that person on, or put that person on for one of our poorer penalty takers. Let's go to the tactics screen. And do I have a way of looking at... not really, unless I customize something. I'm assuming that our center backs are probably quite terrible at penalties. Yeah, Masoli Eti at a 1, so he'll probably come off. Pitaya, I think, is decent in terms of set-piece situations. Actually, penalty taking 3, not that good. What about Etimoni Eti? He's a 1 as well. He won't be coming on. I should have sorted this out before the game, guys. I apologize. Tiute is a 4, but he's the best option thus far. Finally, we have Tamafai Tini Lau, who's a 3. So I guess it's Tiute, which is a little bit worrying. All right. So let's bring off Eti then, I suppose, for Tiute. This could be a catastrophic mistake here, guys. I'm not sure. It'll be good to at least get one person who has 1 penalty taking off the pitch. We need somebody who's a little better than that. Okay, Tiute, no pressure. You just don't make any mistakes. He's playing out of position. His native position is left back. We don't have any left backs in our formation. Oh boy. Maybe we'll just concede before penalties even happen. That'll save us the trouble of worrying about him, I guess. Katagali. As you can see, I have a very positive attitude about this game against Nui here. Sio misses his shot. Nui's finishing has been atrocious in this game. Really, they should have put us away before we got to this point. Maybe a highlight here before we go to penalties. Eti on the ball on the left for us, taking his time. Has it stolen by Fiamalua. Tiute cuts that out. Well done. Pearson, Moeaga. Moeaga stripped of possession. Tui will intercept that, launch it long, and Nui could have one final highlight here. Correction, Eti intercepts that. Pearson maybe has found Moeaga. Oh, Moeaga's fluffed his lines. Completely fluffed his lines. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. His condition is at like 40% or something like that. He's very tired. That's a woeful goal kick. Eti may be able to launch one in here. Moeaga, can he find someone ahead of him? Tui, Pearson. Pearson has it stripped. Looks like we are going to penalties here, guys. Good to see that we're giving Tito Tui a bit of match time in a very important, tense game here. I'm sure that'll help his development later on. And has the final whistle gone? Yes, it has. All right, so we're going to... just pull these out of here. I think I'd rather just do a full auto pick for it. We'll have Moeaga going first, Tui, Lapayo, Fakasega, and Eti. Seems like a sensible lineup here. That's our front 3 forwards, our set-piece specialist, and one of our best passers. So we'll bring these guys on, see how we do. As I mentioned, I do feel like we have the goalkeeping advantage here. Oh boy, penalties. Moeaga scores. So we are going first in the penalty shootout. That's obviously a benefit. Sio here, he scores as well. It's 1-1 in the penalty shootout here in the final of the Christmas Cup. Tamafai Tui will take next. It's been saved. It has been saved, and now Nui have a huge advantage. And they've capitalized. It's 2-1 to Nui. Hell's Teeth on the brink here. To think that a few matches ago the double was on. Lapayo nearly has it saved. It has gone into the back of the net. And now we may come out of this great first season with no silverware, which is 3-2 in the penalty shootout. I was really hoping that we would have at least some result. Fakasega must score here, and it's been saved. It has been saved, and if Nui score this, they are the Cup champions. Nui, the champions of the Christmas Cup here. So our brilliant run of form, although this match will be classed as a draw. We are still on our unbeaten run for all intents and purposes, but we've come up short in the league, and now we've come up short in the cup final as well. It's disappointing, guys. It's quite disappointing. You know, this was always going to be a bit of a struggle this season, and the players have responded very well to the blow dryer treatment, which is good to see. I was not optimistic that would work, but it has. Disappointing. We obviously dropped a lot of points in that sort of poor stretch of form in the middle of the season. It's understandable that we've come up short at the end, but that's a little bit disappointing. I think we can do much better next season. That is for sure. It certainly will be a goal to qualify for the OFC Champions League. We finished in third, and obviously we'll have a decent chance more than decent chance to do even better than that next season. And obviously the Christmas Cup will certainly be a priority for next season as well, having got to penalties against one of the best teams in the league in Nui. Good to see for certain, guys. So thank you for being here for episode 7, guys. It's the end of season 1 with Hell's Teeth. Nui are the champions of the Christmas Cup. But we will be back for the start of episode 2, episode 8 in season 2, and I hope you guys will join us for that. I am planning on bringing in a swath of new signings, and I hope that you guys will be here to discuss those signings with me. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back for episode 8 of The Triumph.